I'm Vivek Sheth. I am a graduate from the National Institute of Design in Exhibition and Spatial Design. And currently I am teaching at NID. I'm teaching foundation students. I'm an assistant. And also I'm a chief researcher on reviving the Design Classics collection of the 20th century modern design, which we have at NID, gifted by the Museum of Modern Art. So I'm just trying to revive that collection, restore it, and put it in place for the larger design community to access it, to work. The courses I kind of work with are design concepts and concerns, environmental perception, and theatre. Design democracy through context, through culture, through grassroots, through community, opportunity, and information is what kind of largely I'm going to talk about. Through context, we have this word from Lakshmi Murthy's design studio called Vikalp Design in Udaipur, which is trying to build a communication system for complex health and life issues, especially women, in the rural and non-literate areas of Udaipur. So if we're looking at how, with the people, collaborating with the people, we see how communication methods and systems are generated so that they understand it. For culture which connects people, we have locals and tourists in Ahmedabad going for the Heritage Walk, which is designed by Kruta Foundation, the head of which is Mr. Devashish Nayak. And they walk, they talk, they know about the city, and they are just exchanging their cultures, exchanging their ideas. To grassroots, we have here footwear for the salt pan workers while they work on field in Kutch. The designer Nitin Virkar from Therefore Design, who is also an NID alumni, he, after mapping their daily lives and routines, the need for a protective footgear was identified by him. The solution was important socially and topographically and culturally because they were relevant to their needs. The outcome was a sock or a shoe created using a waterproof, breathable and yet affordable material with waterproof zip that takes the shape of foot in the person who's going to wear it. It is a remarkable wonders in that area because they don't have those diseases that come because of working barefoot. To community, to empowering people, Katla Maro Chalo is a design for development strategy program. It's a drive for the Indian rural economy, which is by Professor Ranjan and his team from NID through the outreach programs. The project dealt more with empowering the community through design strategies and intervention instead of giving them packed ideas of, okay, this is the kind of furniture you can make from the material you have. So it's more about how would they lead to making that furniture or to that bamboo, it's the basic raw material that they require. To opportunity, which is through Furat, rainwater conservation, which is an opportunity that was mapped out looking at the history of harvesting and conserving rainwater in Ahmedabad, in the old city of Ahmedabad, which has tankas that are there in every house, which are around 200 meters deep, and they store water. To information, this image is an outcome of an assignment in course of design concepts by Professor Ranjan a few years back. The students of New Media Design at NID created a visual map of a village called Shahpur in Gandhinagar. And the resources they tried to map over here were natural, cultural and human, which would serve as an aid to planners, to economists, as a wholesome picture of what it is and what are they looking at. So coming to design, for me, works as an expression, works as systems, works as interventions, collaboration, sustainability, solution, communication and lifestyle of all the various things that we have listed in design. What I'm going to mainly talk about is communication systems, intervention and collaboration, of which communication, this is a project that was given to NID by the Gujarat government with a Switzerland-based, with collaboration with the Switzerland-based organization, which was on behavioral change communication strategy for prevention of disability in northern Gujarat, northern part of Gujarat. So the strategies that it was about developing a strategy for making people understand what disability is and how to deal with it. So these are the various phases that it went under. To kind of eventually what they did was around, in print media and in audio, they had around 48,000 square feet of wall painted in 1,500 villages of Gujarat that talked about disability and how to prevent it. These are some of the posters that went around in schools and Anganwadis to make people understand what are the 7 recognized formats of disability by the PWD Act of 1960, to wall paintings, to calendars, stickers, through books. So it is just trying to look at various formats of design which have helped, which come together to put things in order for people to understand, to communicate. Design as systems, Daily Dump, which is quite known by I think a lot of people over here, which is an effective waste management system in Bengaluru. It is something what even Kulveer mentioned about urban wastage and how do we deal with it. Kiran Sethi over here just was of course looking at it in her backyard, and people around over there, they cannot, it's difficult to manage waste, and especially in India it's difficult to manage organic waste. So how do we do it? We compost your own waste at home and make it manure. So it kind of at one level diminishes the requirement of a municipal body that kind of works with waste management system. And this is an open source system which is up on the website. People can just look at the way it is done, make the pots, get the pots made, or replicate the entire system in other cities, which has also happened. To design as intervention, the last 2 projects that I'm going to talk about are primarily my projects that I've worked on while being at NID. This one is a design as an intervention, which it's basically lacquer turned wood furniture of Sankheda, Gujarat, and this was a pitch that we had made to the UNESCO to list this under the intangible cultural heritage. It was mainly to look at things like craft as a living ability, and Sankheda and the modern techniques, modern technology, how they rule over the traditional systems of crafts, the traditional materials that they use, which can still work. They just need to kind of look at how to make it more effective. So trying to work with them, giving them options of financial startups, of how do you procure raw material, of GI protection systems. So it is something that is quite close to my heart, to kind of work with craftsmen and understand their needs. To the final project that I'm presenting is my diploma project, which is a design collaboration and sustainable, which I did in Bombay, right a few kilometers away in Bandra, looking at Ranvar, which is a primarily East Indian Catholic community, and it's a village right off Hill Road, so you do see such things every day, but you do not know what the context of it is. So there was an urban conservation and regeneration plan that was started for this place as a part of my project. This is the map of it from top view, hand painted, and there are various images of various locations and areas of interest. So how do we communicate this 400-year-old culture, which is seeing major change over a period of time due to various aspects, due to development, due to a lot of things? How do we look at this change, and how are we communicating this change and making people aware about it? There were various phases and processes that were applied in this project, right from collaborative, talking to the locals, to the residents, to moving to architects, to conservators, and kind of something that came over here was a complex yet simple matrix analysis which explained how do you rate general heritage features against what are the possible tools to achieve that. So the problem identified was that Ranvar, irrespective of coming under the heritage precinct by the heritage bylaws of Mumbai, it still did not get the requirement, the things that the government needs to help them with. So how was I falling? So how did I go about it? I kind of created a blog which is called Your Bandra, bandra4u.blogspot, wherein I posted my processes and invited comments and invited people to come and tell me what and how. Is it right? Is it wrong? Is it going fine? To get as many views as possible to understand the entire subject. To understand, we were primarily looking at the change in built environment, which was the top images of an elevation of Ranvar in 1948, and the one that we have down is in 2010, that was mapped last year. And we are seeing the difference in terms of how structures have taken over. So what is an intelligent way of doing or going about development? There were online photosynths created. It's a Microsoft Research Lab initiative that people outside could see the place. They could actually traverse through the place with the softwares. To eventually coming down to 5 scenarios which spoke about perspectives from a developer, perspectives from the resident, perspectives from people who do not live in India. And these are some illustrations about those scenarios. Similar projects that kind of I could not put in over here, but I wanted people to have a look at would be like something like Sampurn Chula, which is a Philips design studio by Maharashtra. There's Button Masala as a democracy, how people can actually build their own clothes, by Anuj Sharma. There's Herbs Mashup right in Dharavi slums, which is working for the people. Design Directions, Ladakh project. There are various such kind of projects which are working with people, for the people, and empowering them to come up with their own design sensibilities and not just imposing a certain kind of design to them. Why Isolone and revisit Milan? In simple terms, it's just because we make connections to make meaning, to create. Thank you very much.